Hello everyone and welcome to Cappuccino with HR. My name is Rudi Bauer and after 40 years in business I'm 100% sure that the success of companies is directly related to the passion of the people working for these companies. With the Cappuccino of HR we created a format where we really invite people, it's HR leaders, it's recruiters, it's talent acquisition guys, and we're talking about all the different kind of topics, and the range is going from AI of course to new work, to leadership, and all the challenges along the way. Yeah, hello and welcome to another episode of Cappuccino with HR. And today I'm really delighted to have Kate Silber with us. Hi, Kati. Hi, Kate. Sorry, we
Hi,
said
no
Kate.
worries. Yeah. A lot of
and,
names, yeah.
and she's business psychologist and somatic coach, and we will probably hear a little bit from her what that really means. So, before we start, may I ask you to introduce yourself in a few sentences?
Yeah, thank you, Rudi, for the nice introduction. Hi, I'm Kate. As Rudi already mentioned, I'm a business psychologist and I work with people on a lot of somatic things that are more like bodily awareness topics. So I integrate in my work deep mindset transformations with and combine that with also emotional regulation and self-awareness. And yeah, that's kind of the work that I do from day to day since the last 3 years full time and since like 10 years part time. And before that, I worked in HR, and that's where Rudi and I also got to know each other.
Yeah, and I mean, we have tried to find a really nice title for this episode, and I think we made some suggestions, and I found one, and we both agreed on this is probably a really good one. It's softness at work. Is it a weakness or is it the ultimate leadership asset? And we're going to talk about that topic. But as it's called Cappuccino with HR, I need to ask you this question because I ask this question every of my guests. What is your favorite coffee?
Yeah, usually I like the fancy stuff, but with coffee, I rather prefer it very simple and raw. So I usually go for espresso,
Okay.
straight, simple as it is. Yeah, we went to Cuba in 2019, my partner and I, and we
Mm-hmm.
visited a farmer, a coffee bean farmer, and we
Mm-hmm.
harvested Arabica coffee straight
Mm-hmm.
from his garden, and we had the espresso in his very original form after that. And I always like think back of
Mm-hmm.
our traveling like experiences when I drink espressos.
I think anyhow it's the best one. I really enjoy
Yeah,
espresso
you
as well.
too.
So yeah, it's
Nice.
I think it's the pure. This is really the pure power. I mean, I think
Yeah.
you're really getting the soul of the coffee.
Yeah.
Kate, when we're talking about softness and when we're talking about uh, is it a weakness? Is it a leadership strength asset? Is it a kind of are we heading into kind of a society situation where we anyhow need to address it? What's your
Mm.
take on that?
Hmm. Yeah. Great question. I feel like it's super important to recognize and acknowledge the fact that softness is the foundation of strength. So it's not the opposite or whatever. It doesn't weaken our strengths, it actually complements them. It also complements authority. And oftentimes, it's probably hard for people to integrate it for themselves in a way that feels empowering. And that's where I feel like the missing gap is sometimes, whereas people then tend to misinterpret softness in a way. For myself, for example, softness is a form of self-respect, of deep self-respect.
Have you personally experienced it as a kind of a softness, as a kind of a weakness in your private life, in your uh, in the phase when you grew up? I mean, when I grew up as a boy, I mean, there was okay, boys don't cry. Yeah, that was still a kind of a mantra which was out there. So boys have had to be like strong guys, and crying was not seen really well at from boys. So have you in your child phase this experienced this as well?
For sure as well. I mean, it was more of a thing that kindness should be the essence of my personality, ideally. And kindness is a good thing, for sure.
Yeah.
But in my opinion, if you lack self-respect and have not yet integrated on a deep level, kindness, only the kindness will bring you in situations that are probably not the most empowering situations. So being kind, but not being able to like stand your foot on the ground when you need to, is something that I had to think about and then change within my life. So when I was a child, of course, I didn't have the self-awareness to think about these things. I was just like living my life. But especially then when I started studying and during the time when I had my first like part-time jobs, I realized, okay, it's great to add some spice. And this would be, in my opinion, self-respect. And to combine that with kindness. And this, in my opinion, creates kind of a superpower where you can connect with people on a much, much deeper level.
And I mean, we're living in a world where shareholder value, where money, where growth, where profit is a really are the big topics. I mean, I think this is really leading and driving the world at the moment. We could either find it good or bad. I mean, I do not want to judge it now, but is there a place for softness? Is there kind of a coexisting possibility of these two values?
Yeah, I think it's there has to happen a perspective shift on softness, the way we see it, because so how I preach it or how I live it, how I embody it, and how I work with it with my clients, softness empowers people in a way so that they can stand up as a stronger leader, as a stronger authority, that they can foster greater relationships in work and also in life, so that people have more respect towards them and show them more respect. And that's much stronger than any title or strategy of a company could like ever give to so as such. So it has much as a stronger power. Let's call it like that. There's a stronger power behind it.
You said that it's starting with self-respect. It's starting with knowing yourself extremely well. Where should we start then? Because I mean, on one hand, you could always have the expectation that the other one should take care about it. I mean, that's we are living in a kind of a society that has trained this a lot. I mean, we always expect from politicians to solve our problems. We expect from the parents to solve our problems. We expect from the partner to take care about us. But honestly, I think it needs to start it yourself. Yeah? And what is the right methodology to come there? Because I mean, if I always mirror my expectations to the rest of the world, I think it's really difficult. Because I mean, one hand is expecting things from the other, and the other expecting it from the other side as well. So, what if in your coachings, where do you start? What is the methodology that you're using to create this kind of awareness and this kind of self-respect at the end of the day as a result?
It of course depends on where the person stands right now when it comes to my coaching, because I work with them and on the things where they are currently standing and kind of adjust to their current state. But it starts with, as you mentioned, with self respect in a way, so that you honor the responsibility that you have and that you carry for yourself. So finishing the work day when you said you're gonna finish it is a simple thing to do. Listen to others without the need to judge right away or to think about your answer while others are already speaking is a way also of practicing this self-awareness. Then being very graceful towards yourself and being in contact with your vulnerability while you are talking to others brings you in presence. Whenever you're in presence, people feel you much better. And there's a lot of little different shifts you can start with. But yeah, as you mentioned, one of the first steps could be to recognize, okay, it's in my power and it's in my hands to change how I am looking at softness and how I'm living with my vulnerability. Because at the end of the day, life is not worth living if you're only like living like a robot and are not acknowledging your own feelings. So a lot of people nowadays are gaslighting their own needs and feelings just to seem cool or like laid back. And yeah, then there's you're already disrespecting yourself on a very deep level. And how could you expect from others to respect yourself on a more shallow level whenever you on a deeper level disrespect yourself even. So yeah, it really starts with yourself, as you mentioned.
And when are your clients normally showing up at your place? Is it either individuals or teams or companies or leaders? Is it because they're already in really critical situations, or is it 5 minutes before that, or is it already ahead of it? Because I mean, I know it's individual, but if you have to take the average.
The average, to be honest, isn't not in such a bad situation. They just recognize that they want to have more. There's the simple desire and the innate kind of calling or knowledge that there is more to life than like just working, sleeping, eating, and repeat, and that on default mode, never really present with yourself, so to say. They are good in their jobs. They know how to behave in society, how society works. They are also oftentimes great leaders already, but somehow and at some point they might have lost the connection with their inner needs and self a bit. So they realize, okay, I'm tending towards a situation maybe where I don't really want to go further in this direction, or they realize I'm at this place right now where I know with a help and with a place, so to say, with a support where I feel safe, I can even elevate further, and I can create a life for myself where I not only am successful in the job and in business, but I'm also creating a fulfilling and rich life for myself, for the family that I want to create, for this friend circle I want to have. And this complements a lot the professional and business world as well. So in my experience, most of the people who are like feel burned out, that comes not so much only from the company that exploits them, because they decide themselves to work longer, and so forth. So it's it's a circle and kind of a you can kind of turn around your circle of influence.
Do your clients, I mean, especially when they are in leadership roles or team leading roles, do they express the fear of losing authority and respect by showing their softness?
Great question. Let me think about it. I feel like it's more, in my opinion, more about losing power themselves, like not being able to control life in the way anymore they used to control life. So it has more to do, I feel like, with an identity they created for themselves in order to build the life they wanted to build. I'm not sure if this is now too deep. If people can understand it, you are better to say, but that's just the truth that I am experiencing right now, that this happens at the level where people build an identity, and when this identity starts to rock a bit, it's getting hard for them because they built it in this way, and how should they change now? Even though they realize I can't go on this further in this way anymore, because it doesn't work with my future vision anymore. Because if I want to be a mother, or if I want to build a family, or if I just want to have a friendship circle that nourishes me, I need to change some stuff within myself. So it's more the fear of losing power within yourself than it is from others on a deeper level, of course, then also from others on a more like shallow level, let's call it like that, to lose control within yourself.
Yeah, and I mean, if you have companies, and I mean, most of the companies that I know are really performance driven, because I mean, we are living in times of crisis. I mean, the world out there is really strange at the moment, so it's really tough to survive. Yeah, honestly. What could companies, I mean, as you're working with individuals and with companies and teams, what is a good tip from your side how to start integrating it in a kind of a structured way? Because I think the first step is always the most difficult one. So if you get the awareness, and I mean, a lot of people that I'm talking to, they have this kind of awareness that humans will be the success factor, will stay the success factor even in times of AI. I mean, AI could support us a lot, but at the end of the day, companies, I think that the difference between successful long-term successful companies and short-term successful companies is normally the humans working for these companies, and that will fortunately that will stay. So hopefully, but I'm 100% sure that it will be like this. So what could be a good tip to do a kind of a really step-by-step process to start implementing empathy, listening, kindness, softness into performance-driven cultures?
Again, different angles to tackle that from, different perspectives, depends also on the culture of the company, what aligns with the culture, where to step in an authentic way in a company. What is something that is for sure missing more and more in our society is the connection to our body below our throat, let's call it like that. So if people can train the awareness within their body, not only when they are training and working out and like getting all the HIIT training in, but more like to tend towards themselves and those little sensations in their body, it helps people to recognize when they kind of stop breathing throughout the day just because they are so anxious or afraid or whatsoever. Or when they realize, okay, I'm tightening up now, or I'm also maybe, I'm crushing my teeth against each other. So when people recognize that more easily, they can regulate themselves better on a very simple way. It starts very, very simple in a very simple way. Then they are already empowered, so they realize, and when it happens in these small steps, that they can do something against it and maybe go to someone that supports them to release some tension within their body, or to change destructive thoughts within their minds. So somatic work, of course, it's my work now, and I'm a big believer in it because I experienced it myself, and I'm experiencing it with my clients day by day, what this can change. But the sensations in the body, if you train the connection with the body and mind even more, so people will stay more connected to themselves in a very simple way. That would be the first way to step into this realm.
To probably briefly describe somatic for the audience, because probably not
Yeah.
everyone has heard about it, or probably some heard the term but they don't know what's behind. So could you give us a quick introduction on that?
Sure. That's also very simple to do because the Greek word is soma, and it comes from this word, and the Greek word soma means body. So somatic work basically is body work in this case. And oftentimes maybe people have also heard psychosomatic work. This works a lot on how the body responds to psychological patterns, so to say. And that's the combination that you can then also work with once you start to realize somatic things within your body. So some sensations within your body. It's basically body work in this case.
And do you have a kind of a probably 1, 2 small exercises that everyone could use in his daily routines?
Mm, yeah, I mean, I'm very cautious about these things. I just want to mention why also. I have a couple of exercises that I feel like it's just important to mention that people don't only use these exercises as a coping mechanism then and feel like, okay, now I'm fine and now I don't need to think deeper or like
Yeah, of course.
work with myself. So I feel like
Yeah.
that's also as a lot of quick things and things that you fix easily, situations with their quick fixes. But of course, there's a couple of exercises you could do. Um, one very simple exercise is whenever throughout the day you have time to do this kind of exercise, you could just simply I have this also, I feel like, recorded somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
But that's very simple. You can just look with your eyes to the very left side, so to say, of your eyes, and then
Mm-hmm.
also to the very right side of the
Okay.
eyes. And if you do that
Mm-hmm.
a couple of times very slowly,
Yeah.
it helps, especially if you're looking at the screen quite
Yeah.
often. It helps your vagus nerve also to switch on more. The vagus nerve is there to switch on the parasympathetic nervous system that is there for
Mm-hmm.
relaxation in the body. And it supports
Mm-hmm.
also the muscle within your eyes so that you kind of tell your body everything is fine by looking around. And
Mm-hmm.
especially when you look to the very left and to the very right, because
Okay.
this means, yeah, that you're more safe. Than that would be a very simple coping mechanism, so to say,
Really
in a good
cool.
way.
Yeah, really cool. Thanks for that one. Thanks for that one. I want to switch a little bit now,
Yeah.
topic-wise, because I mean, you said, I mean, we need this kind of self-respect. We need to get this kind of, if I interpret it right now, this kind of personal feeling that, okay, I'm good enough. Yeah, I'm good enough for
Mhm.
this planet. I'm good enough as I am. I'm really okay. It's okay to take myself in the way I am. Uh, Now we are coming into times of AI. We're coming to times of agentic AI. I mean, there will be agents that could do our work probably. They can do it even faster. You could copy paste them. They do not have working hours. They do not have labor rights. So, I
Mhm.
mean, does that bring additional pressure on us as humans to keep in this balance?
Mm, if if we really think about the core human traits and needs, I would say it doesn't create so much pressure
Hmm.
because we need connection. We need human connection in order to function.
Hmm.
And I feel like it will still take some time for AI or whatsoever to take
Yeah,
over that role. And
yeah.
yeah, so.
But I mean, if you look on human connection, and I fully agree to that. I mean, honestly, I think we left this kind of path already a couple of years ago before AI was coming into our lives. I think
Mhm,
it was with social media. So social media gave us the impression, okay, we're in constant contact with people, we're in constant communication with people, we're in constant exchange with people. But at the end of the day, it was a kind of a synthetic layer, let's call it synthetic
mhm,
layer, where I mean we had thousands of friends on Facebook,
mhm,
yeah, but no communication. Yeah. So,
mhm.
and I really deleted all my social media accounts except LinkedIn 1.5 years ago, or more than a little bit more than a year now, because of exactly that impression. It felt like constantly being in communication and exchange with people. It felt extremely human,
Mhm.
but then I found out no, it wasn't. And the second thing, what I really, and I want to get your take on this as well, what I had, and it's no bashing on Instagram and social media, definitely not, but I had the impression that Instagram, especially Instagram, always showed me, Rudi, you are a real loser. Yeah.
Mm,
You're not
mhm,
beautiful enough, you're not rich enough, you haven't, you should, why haven't you? And
mhm,
it constantly showed me things that made me in a way unhappy and
mhm,
unsatisfied with myself, my performance, my being, myself, my age, my body, my weight. So, and I really got this impression constantly.
mhm,
And it was a kind of, it was not really there on a prime level, but so in my deep down in me, it always caused this kind of, hey, you haven't been to New York. Friends of you have been in New York. Huh? You haven't seen Maldives. Yeah. Why haven't you been at Maldives? I mean, you earn good money, Rudy. You have a good job. You haven't been on the Maldives. Why could that be?
Yeah.
And this regularly happened to me. Yeah. And do you see that as well?
Yeah, 100%. So there's a huge lack of context, I would say, in social media. There's a lot of content, but very little context. So it's a lot of black and white information that you get there. And when things lack context, it's hard, of course, for people to differentiate. Is this like, does this belong to me, or is this a general rule for everyone, so to say? Because context always supports you to differentiate. And yeah, so it makes sense. And that's also happened to me. I feel like it happened to everybody, these things on social media. Yeah, it comes down to really check in with yourself. What is something that you want to do in your life? So when people are on the Maldives and you are at home and you have a wonderful winter in Austria and you feel like there's wonderful snow around me, I really appreciate that. I don't care about the Maldives right now because I can go skiing or whatsoever, and I want to do that right now. And you really do that from your like innate need to do these things because you know yourself what you like, then you don't care, I would say, so much about the others, because whatever they do, you are happy for them. But at the first place, you're happy for yourself because you created yourself a wonderful day, winter day in Austria, so to say. And the context, of course, is always missing. And if the context is missing, it's hard to differentiate these things. That's my take on it.
I mean, but it means you need to be, I mean, as stronger you or as more reflected you are as a person, as more you are really standing with both feet on the ground, as more you are really grounded, and probably grounded and connected also to a kind of a higher energy as well. So well balanced, let's call it well balanced. I think it easier it is. But in uncertain times, I think that's probably the issue that probably you have a much better estimations on how many percent of the population are as well balanced. I mean, I see a lot of people that are really uncertain. I talk a lot to young people, and they are really in this kind of situation that they on one hand they want to be part of the system as we have it now, and the system is really kind of, yeah, profit, success, money, getting rich, showing all the materialistic style shit that we have around us. And on the other hand, it's this kind of really strong belief in there's much more out there, and finding yourself, finding your true yourself. And what is your tip for these people to really do the next small first step into that direction? Is it because I mean you're sitting between two chairs, as we say in Austria? Yeah. Yeah. How did you manage it yourself?
Yeah, a lot of little steps,
Hmm.
always to acknowledge, okay, first of all, it's little steps. They don't
Yeah.
have to be huge steps right away.
Yeah.
I don't have to be like a Buddha tomorrow and don't care about anything else. So very simple is value-driven life at first, to check in
Okay.
on yourself. What are my values that I
Hmm.
want to embody, and
Hmm.
not only talk about or think about, but actually embody them? And how
Hmm.
does embodiment, for example, of trust, for myself,
Yeah.
trust is a very important value. And
Yeah.
it's super important for me that I can trust the people that are in my close circle, that they can trust me, and that I establish that deep sense of trust, because that gives me a safe space, so to say.
Hmm.
And maybe for me, embodying trust looks different than to you
Mm-hmm.
in a sense,
Yes, for
but still we could meet at the level of this value
sure.
and like connect on it. And
Mm.
if you have like this inner direction that you want to go forward to, because you know your values, you know how you want to embody them, it's easier for yourself also to distinguish, okay, that's
Yeah,
nice for them because that's probably their values. Fine
yeah,
for them. I have my values, so to
yeah,
say, and
yeah,
I value this kind of life.
yeah. And to be brave enough to find your own values and to stand for these values. I mean, that's the most
Mhm.
difficult step. Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
I have a small anecdote which with a small thing that I did for really a couple of years. A friend of mine, he gave me, I mean, we were out for a beer and then he handed out a raw bean, one little raw bean to me.
Mhm.
And he said, okay, I give you this bean now and I ask you to do the following thing with this bean. Put it either in your left or your right pocket in your trousers. So if your left hand, probably it's the left is the good side and the right pocket is the bad side.
Mhm.
If something good happens to you, put it in the left pocket. If
Mhm.
something bad happens during the day, put it in the right pocket, and then watch out what in which pocket you have it at the end of the day.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
And I really did this for 3, 4, 5 years. So I was really putting out the bean out of the pocket in the
Love
evening, put
it.
it to the charging station for the telephone, and next morning I grabbed it. And if the
Mhm.
day started well, I put it in the left pocket. If well, the day started with a quarrel or something bad, I put it in the right pocket. And honestly, after 2, 3, 4 years, I continuously did this stuff. In 95% of the days, it was in the left pocket.
Mm. Mhm.
And that showed me that I'm really in a really wonderful, that I have a wonderful life, that I have a
Mhm.
brilliant kind of standing, that
Mhm.
everything around me is really, really okay. Yeah, and
Mm.
beautiful. And that helped me a lot to find my balance, to find my values, because at the end of the day, you start thinking what helped you to see it like this. What's your life? What is in it? And honestly, even if I would probably never come to the Maldives, honestly, I don't miss it. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
100%.
yeah.
Yeah, and I feel like the very last sentence you made an amazing point, because the value of others can be different to mine and they can still be good people
Yeah,
as
for
well.
sure. Yeah, for sure.
So, and it
Yeah, I
can be good
don't.
for them, and the other
Yeah,
thing can be good for you, and you
yeah,
can still walk like past them at the street and be nice to them at the same time.
yeah. Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, I think it's starting, immediately stopping judging things. Yeah,
Mm,
and on the other hand, probably it's also not putting people and minds in drawers and put a stack a label on it, wrong and right. I think that's probably the biggest issue that we have in our society, that we try to
yeah,
have. I think my right is my right and your right is your right, and I think it's as individual as people are, and we have to accept that, and we have to become self-confident on our personal uh, things that we find right. Yeah,
yeah, yeah. There's a huge belief, like a false narrative, I would say,
yeah,
people tell themselves
yeah.
around this, and that's also only in order if I judge others and myself very hard, I'm able to develop further, or I can progress in my career or in my life. So
Hmm.
there's a huge connection oftentimes, but this holds you back at a certain level. It brings you to a certain level, probably not in the best
Hmm.
energy.
Hmm.
But it also holds you back at some point when you always connect the judging part with the performance part,
Hmm.
because
Yeah,
reflecting upon what you can do better, even though you're probably already good,
yeah,
um, is not the same as criticizing and blaming yourself for the things you did wrong in order to do better because you have to be better. So there's a
yeah, yeah,
differentiation, I feel like, that needs to be made
yeah.
oftentimes, because you blame yourself. We blame yourself too often.
That's a really really important point. And I mean, as we are living in an extremely complex world, I think we need to also establish a kind of a new failure culture,
Hmm.
and failing and I mean, if you want to become agile, I think it's trial and error. It's really trying out things, and it's connected to failures, and it's
Mm-hmm.
connected to things that won't work out. And honestly, I mean, if we always measure ourselves with every single failure against performance, I think we will never become agile. Never.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
really important. I mean, Kate, we could talk for another 2 hours, I think. I mean, it's such an inspiring
Same.
conversation with you. We're coming to
Mm-hmm.
the end, and I have one
Mm-hmm.
question which I have to ask you as well, because I
Mm-hmm.
mean, the last one.
Mm-hmm.
If Aladdin with his magic lamp would show up at your place now,
Mm-hmm.
what would be regarding the topic you're burning for, regarding your topic you're really trying to help people to come closer to that and to get their self own real own visible? What would be the wish to Aladdin?
Mm, that people are able to trust themselves even more so than they do right now. So self-trust and self-respect to connect it. Now I can't decide between those two. I really love both. So self-trust and self-respect. If we combine these two things, we can do great things as people, I would say, as humans. Yeah, that would be my wish.
No better closing words. I think I can't cut anything. Thank you very much for your time. I really enjoyed our conversation. I really
Same
love
here.
this topic because I think we are in a society where we really need to open up for that as well, because I think that keeps us human, that makes us human. And at the end of the day, I think it will make companies even more profitable as well if they do it right. Thank you so much for
Yeah.
your time.
Thank you, Rudi.
And dear audience, please stay tuned for what's coming next. Goodbye.
Definitely. Bye bye. Thank you.
Thank you for watching Cappuccino with HR. If you enjoy this kind of conversations, please don't forget to hit the subscribe button. Then you get all this kind of upfront information, your upcoming episodes, and all my nice guests. Cappuccino with HR is brought to you by We Are Developers, Europe's #1 developer community and a leading platform for connecting HR and companies together with developers. If you want to learn more, visit us on wearedevelopers.com. Thank you again for watching and see you next time on Cappuccino with HR.